My name is Daniel McRae. I'm 49 years old from a small village in Scotland called Invergordon, which has about 3,000 people. I moved into the fitness industry, looking after tennis, squash, football, rugby, five-a-side, badminton. Worked my way up into hotel leisure clubs, five-star facilities. Moved to London and had a great time for 5 years in my late 30s. And then one day decided I'd had enough of living in the UK. I went online, as you do, and applied for jobs in the Middle East. I'd never been to the Middle East. I didn't know anything about the Middle East. I applied for the job. Within about 10 minutes, I had a phone call. I had an interview on the phone. I knew the gentleman from before, which I didn't know at the time when I was applying for the job. And he said, you have the job if you want it, and you have a choice of places to go. So there was Bahrain, Dubai, Saudi, Kuwait, Jordan. Now I had never heard of any of them. So me being Scottish, I said, what's the first letter of the alphabet? B is Bahrain, is the first one. Let's go to Bahrain. So 4 weeks later, my bags were packed and I jumped on a plane to this beautiful country called Bahrain. And I arrived on the 14th of February 2011 and I stayed working at the World Trade Center for 2 years. Then after my contract finished, I moved over to Sharjah, Dubai and Oman. And then 4 years ago, I had the opportunity to come back to Bahrain, which I was never going to give up. It was my favorite place. I fell in love with the place when I first arrived. In terms of the people, they're absolutely amazing. You'll never come to another part of the world where people make you feel so friendly. I work at a place called the British Club, and we have a slogan, home from home. I feel as if I'm still at home living in Bahrain. So it's a beautiful place for people to visit. In terms of things that I like to do in Bahrain, I used to live on Amwaj Island, which had a beautiful beach, a nice little lagoon to walk around, and that was amazing. Now I live at the top end of the island, which is Bar Sar, which is also amazing. Things to do that I like here, I've obviously been to the Grand Prix, fantastic. I've been to the new amphitheatre. I've been down to the famous souk, which is a must-see for anyone who comes to this island. But my favourite passion is cooking. And if you have not been to Shawarma Alley, then you haven't lived. The food is just absolutely amazing. So now that I've been here for 4.5 years, I like eating in different restaurants, and I find the service and the food here is just first class. Because of my job, I get to meet a lot of different people. Predominantly half our membership are Bahraini, so that gives me a chance to meet locals on a day-to-day basis. And I find it fascinating that you have all walks of life come into my club, from people who drive Ferraris and fancy cars and people who are working people like myself. I've always found Bahrainis and the people very welcoming. I find them very respectful. I think as a place to come and live, It is very inclusive for all nationalities, and I think that is something that is very unique to Bahrain. I think when people come, they're not sure what to expect, but once you start speaking to the locals, you just feel so relaxed. They will do anything for you. If your car breaks down, they'll be the first people to stop at the side of the road. Do you need help? They're the first people who are really proud of where they live, so they want to show you round the island. So when you go to the museum and the fort, you can see the pride. You know, when you're invited to their home, you can see it's a big deal. It's like a family that they really want you to be part of. So I love that part of the Bahraini way of life. In terms of culture, obviously Bahrain has a bit of everything for everyone, from, you know, arts, museums, festivals. You know, there is absolutely everything that you could want in a country. And I've always found that whenever I get invited to things, whether it be an iftar, someone's wedding, you would just be crazy not to say yes and experience it. So anyone who's moving here would definitely love that part of the way of life here. For me, I'm a foodie, so Bahrain has so many different amazing places to eat. Going from, you know, if you want to be top end, Four Seasons, or you want to go to the food truck in Muharraq, it really just has everything. So from my point of view, I'll spend a weekend just eating food out of a food truck, and then the next weekend I'll do a brunch. I find it fascinating, all the different flavours, the grills, the Arabic messy. You know, I came from a time where it was fish and chips, and it was lasagna and very much potatoes, and that was it. So coming over here sort of opened my eyes to food and to cooking. So yeah, I really do love getting out and about around the whole of Bahrain. So my main job is the British Club. So I'm the manager of the British Club. So effectively that is a place where any nationality can apply to join, to be a member of the club. It's predominantly British members and Bahraini members, which are about 40% of the membership each. And then we have 20% of the rest of the world who come and join us. In terms of what I try to create at the British Club is exactly what Bahrain is all about. It's about inclusion, it's about making people feel welcome, it's making people feel safe. Bahrain's probably one of the safest places I've ever lived. You can walk anywhere and you feel safe. And I think that's a testament to the people who run the country. It is super safe. So for people who are thinking they may be coming with families, young children, even teenagers, if they were worried about coming to this beautiful country, I would say you have nothing to worry about on that side. I think it's top 10 safest in the world, might even be top 5. So it's a fantastic place. So I try and copycat some of the values that Bahrain has alongside the values that the British Club has, and they kind of marry together really, really well. So we try and embrace everyone. We give them a nice tour of our facilities, a bit like what I'm talking about today. You know, you could tour around the whole of Bahrain and you still wouldn't have enough time to see it all. So that's my sort of main job. It's full time, 5 days a week, predominantly weekends. We have a lot of social events, whether it's live music, live cooking, activities for children, lots of festivals, lots of open days. We have swimming pool, tennis court, badminton, restaurants, so library. So we have a lot of facilities, coffee shop for people to be able to come and use. And it's a nice place for people when they first come to Bahrain, if they're not sure of what to do on the island or where to live. We're quite a good starting point, because you can come in, have a look, and then we say, oh, you've got children, you know, how old are they, what school do you want them to go to, what nationality are you, there's this school, there's that school, you know, do you want your children to learn Arabic, which I wish I could speak, and I would definitely recommend it to younger children. I think it's a ever-growing part of the world now that being able to speak Arabic would be amazing for their future developments. So we try and integrate people and give them the right choices of where to live on the island, depending on what their needs are. My daily life, I look after the finances of the Brick Club, and we have a team of 75 people. So on my day-to-day will be a case of what's happening this week, have we organised it, do we have the function sheets, have we got the right people, have we got the right staffing, are we giving the customer the right experience, have we looked at what we want to achieve from each little event. So we have once a month we have an art exhibition, so we have local artists will come into our coffee shop, they'll put up about 30 paintings, and then in the evening we'll have a little sort of get together where they bring all their friends, all the members come and have a look. They get a chance to buy the art, to view the art, and then we leave that art up for 1 month, and we encourage locals to come in and have a look at it. So we want to work with the community, you know, of all areas. So that's the type of thing that I do on a day-to-day basis. There's always different events, whether it's kids taekwondo, junior football, adults playing squash, making sure the facility is looking the best it can, making sure we've got the right staffing levels, the right service. Bahrain offers fantastic service, so sometimes it's quite hard to maintain the standards of the country because obviously people are very demanding at the best of times. So we try and make sure that every day that we go to work, we have this thing called C5. If you see someone within 5 feet of you, you give them a nice smile. It doesn't cost anything to say, hi, how are you, how is your day? I don't speak much Arabic, but I try and say salam alaikum, zain, mabruk. You know, I try and use just little words, sway, to try and sort of embrace, you know, local people who are now my second family as part of the club. So that's a sort of general day-to-day, is just managing the team, managing the safety, managing the events, making sure everything's working, and trying to give a good member stroke customer experience. With regards to Bahrain and the British Club and how we interact with the local community, we do that in a variety of different ways, from working with special needs who have autism. There's a place called RIA, we have a nice relationship with them. We work with St Christopher's School, BSB, all the local schools, so when new people arrive on the island, we invite the teachers down to the club so that we can give them the information they need. In terms of the integration with Bahrain, we have over 400 members here who are from all walks of life in Bahrain. Some who have special charities that are linked to different parts of Bahrain. We have 72 different nationalities that use the club. We try and support them wherever we can, whether it's with raffle prizes, dinner for two, inviting people down to the club, work experience, and I think Bahrain is very inclusive of all nationalities and of all types of people. So I think we fit into that very nicely, because that's what we're all about. This is home from home for people. So wherever we can help anyone, I think that's the sort of Bahrain motto. You know, everyone is included, everyone is welcome. So we try and do the same thing within the British Club. We try and incorporate everyone. Whenever we're asked to attend things on behalf of the Brit Club, whether it's hospitals, whether it's charities, then we always send someone to promote here, plus to support what good work is being done on the island. So the British Club originally was called the Gymkhana Club and was originally started in 1935. Sir Charles Belgrave was the main instigator in 1935 that had the relationship with Bahrain and wanted to create this venue or place where people could go. And from there it's just grown. It's run by volunteers and myself as a main employee. But back in the old days it was only people who were members that made the place. So it's evolved over a long period of time, and as we keep investing the money, because we're not for profit, we want to keep improving on all the facilities for children, for teenagers, for adults, for local people who have slightly different needs to a British person. So we're very conscious that with 72 different nationalities using our club, that we have to cater for. You know, we have some Spanish people who, you know, they like to sit in their own little space, and they, you know, so we have to look at, do we have some Spanish food on our menu? How do we make the Spanish people feel as welcome as the local Bahraini, as the person who's from Kenya or from Thailand? So we're very inclusive. So over the years, I think that's just grown and grown, and I think that comes from living in Bahrain, and I think Bahrain does that really, really well. I'm 49 now, so I've still got ambitions. My father has a family business, so at some point I'll go back home to take over that once my chapter in Bahrain is finished, but at the moment I don't want it to finish, so if I could afford it, I'd stay here forever. It's that nice a country.